Quiet numbers often matter more than loud symptoms, and A1C is one of those numbers that silently decides the future of your health. It reflects what your blood sugar has been doing day after day, night after night for nearly 3 months, not just after one bad meal or one stressful moment. And that is why doctors trust it more than a single glucose reading. Most people believe lowering A1C is all about cutting sugar or avoiding desserts, but that belief misses a powerful truth. The body does not respond only to sugar. It responds to patterns. It responds to what you eat regularly, how fast food turns into glucose, and how your cells react to insulin over time. Some foods work quietly in the background. They do not cause dramatic spikes. They do not create sudden crashes. Instead, they help smooth out blood sugar, reduce inflammation, and improve insulin response in ways that slowly pull A1C down week by week. This is where many people get surprised. The biggest changes often come from foods that are not flashy, not sweet, and not advertised as diabetic superfoods. They work because of fiber, healthy fats, minerals, and the way they slow digestion. In this video, you will learn 5 specific foods that research and real-world results continue to point to when it comes to lowering A1C naturally. These are foods that support stable glucose levels, help reduce after-meal spikes, and make blood sugar easier to control without extreme dieting. You will also learn why these foods matter more for long-term control than short-term numbers on a glucose meter. There is a gap between knowing your blood sugar today and knowing where your health is headed, and A1C lives in that gap. That is why watching this video until the end matters. Each food builds on the last, and together they form a pattern that can change how your body handles glucose over time. Some of these foods may already be in your kitchen, but you may not be using them in the right way or often enough to make a difference. Others are commonly misunderstood or avoided for the wrong reasons. By the end of this video, you will understand not only what to eat, but why these foods work inside the body, how they influence insulin sensitivity, and how small daily choices can slowly shift your A1C in the right direction. This is not about quick fixes or overnight results. A1C does not change overnight, and that is exactly why these foods are so powerful. They work with your biology, not against it. They help calm blood sugar instead of forcing it down. They support your body in a way that medications alone often cannot do without lifestyle support. If you or someone you care about is managing diabetes or prediabetes, this information can change how you think about food. It can remove fear from eating and replace it with clarity. Stay with this video because the final food often surprises people the most, and it plays a bigger role in insulin sensitivity than many expect. Welcome to our channel where we break down health topics into clear, simple ideas you can actually use. If you want more videos that help you understand your body and make smarter daily choices, subscribe now and stay connected with us. A1C matters because it tells a longer story than a single blood sugar test ever could. It reflects how much glucose has been circulating in your blood over roughly the past 3 months, attaching itself to red blood cells little by little. This makes it a powerful predictor of long-term diabetes risk because it captures patterns, not moments. A fasting glucose test might look fine one morning and high the next, but A1C averages all of that out. When A1C stays elevated, it increases the risk of nerve damage, kidney problems, vision loss, and heart disease over time. This is why doctors focus so heavily on it. Lowering A1C is not about chasing perfect numbers every hour of the day. It is about reducing how often and how high blood sugar spikes after meals. Each spike leaves a small mark, and when those marks add up, A1C rises. When daily spikes are smaller and less frequent, A1C slowly comes down. This is where food becomes one of the most important tools. Every meal either pushes blood sugar up quickly or allows it to rise slowly and gently. Even small changes like choosing foods that digest more slowly or pairing carbohydrates with fiber and fat can reduce those spikes. Over weeks and months, those small decisions compound. Big results do not usually come from extreme restrictions. They come from consistent, repeatable choices that your body can adapt to. Food influences A1C through several powerful mechanisms working together. Some foods slow the absorption of sugar in the gut, which means glucose enters the bloodstream at a calmer pace instead of all at once. This reduces sharp spikes that stress the body. Other foods improve how insulin works, making cells more responsive so glucose can move out of the blood and into tissues more efficiently. Chronic inflammation also plays a role in insulin resistance, and certain foods help reduce that inflammation, allowing insulin to do its job better. When digestion slows, insulin sensitivity improves, and inflammation drops. Blood sugar levels become more stable throughout the day. Stability is what A1C responds to. Not perfection, not zero carbs, but steadiness. This is why focusing on the quality of food matters as much as the quantity. The goal is to support the body's natural ability to regulate glucose instead of constantly overwhelming it. Leafy green vegetables are one of the most effective foods for this purpose, yet they are often underestimated. They are extremely low in carbohydrates, which means they have very little direct impact on blood sugar. At the same time, they are rich in fiber, which slows digestion and helps prevent rapid glucose absorption when they are eaten with other foods. Leafy greens also provide magnesium, a mineral that plays a key role in insulin action. Magnesium helps insulin bind to its receptors and improves glucose uptake into cells. Low magnesium levels have been linked to higher insulin resistance and poorer blood sugar control. By regularly eating leafy greens, the body gets a steady supply of this mineral in a natural form that is easy to absorb. These vegetables also add volume to meals without adding a glucose burden, which helps with satiety and portion control. Feeling full with fewer carbs naturally reduces post-meal spikes. Spinach, kale, lettuce, arugula, and similar greens can be eaten raw, lightly cooked, or added to almost any meal. Over time, they support a metabolic environment where insulin does not have to work as hard and blood sugar stays more stable across the day. Fatty fish works in a very different but equally important way. It does not lower blood sugar directly, because it contains almost no carbohydrates. Instead, it improves the internal conditions that determine how the body handles glucose. Fatty fish like salmon and sardines are rich in omega-3 fatty acids, which have strong anti-inflammatory effects. Chronic inflammation is closely linked to insulin resistance. When inflammation is high, insulin signals are weaker, and glucose stays in the bloodstream longer. Omega-3 fats help calm this inflammation, improving insulin sensitivity over time. Fatty fish is also a high-quality source of protein, which slows digestion and reduces the blood sugar impact of meals when eaten alongside carbohydrates. Protein increases satiety, reduces overeating, and helps maintain muscle mass, which is important because muscle tissue uses glucose efficiently. People who regularly include fatty fish in their diet often see better fasting glucose levels and improved A1C over time, not because fish lowers sugar instantly, but because it improves the metabolic environment that controls sugar day after day. Beans and lentils are often misunderstood in diabetes nutrition because they contain carbohydrates, but the type and structure of those carbohydrates matter greatly. Beans and lentils are slow digesting carbs, meaning their starches break down gradually. They are packed with fiber, which forms a gel-like substance in the gut that slows glucose absorption. This blunts post-meal blood sugar spikes and leads to a lower overall glucose response compared to refined grains or sugars. Beans and lentils also improve post-meal blood sugar by feeding beneficial gut bacteria. These bacteria produce compounds that improve insulin sensitivity and reduce inflammation. In addition, beans and lentils are filling. Their combination of fiber and protein keeps hunger under control, making it easier to avoid frequent snacking or overeating later in the day. When meals keep you full longer, blood sugar remains more stable between meals, which directly supports lower A1C over time. Regularly including beans and lentils helps shift blood sugar patterns from sharp peaks and drops to smoother curves. And those smoother curves are exactly what A1C responds to over the long term. Nuts play a quiet but powerful role in blood sugar control because they barely raise glucose on their own while changing how the body responds to an entire meal. Their glycemic impact is very low, which means they do not cause sharp rises in blood sugar when eaten in reasonable amounts. What makes nuts especially effective is their unique mix of healthy fats, plant protein, and fiber. These three elements slow digestion and delay how quickly carbohydrates turn into glucose. When nuts are eaten with a meal, they reduce the speed at which sugar enters the bloodstream, leading to smaller after-meal rises. This effect is not dramatic or immediate, but it is steady and reliable, which is exactly what A1C responds to over time. Healthy fats in nuts improve insulin sensitivity by supporting cell membrane function, making it easier for insulin to move glucose into cells. The protein content helps keep appetite under control, reducing the urge to snack on refined carbohydrates later. Nuts also reduce inflammation, which is often elevated in people with high A1C and insulin resistance. Almonds, walnuts, pistachios, and peanuts all show benefits when included regularly. Portion size matters because nuts are calorie dense, and eating large amounts can lead to excess energy intake that works against blood sugar goals. A small handful is enough to get the benefits. When used correctly, nuts turn meals into slower, steadier experiences for blood sugar instead of sharp metabolic events that leave lasting marks on A1C. Berries offer a rare balance that makes them one of the best fruit choices for blood sugar control. Compared to most fruits, berries contain less sugar and more fiber per serving, which changes how the body processes them. Their natural sugars are packaged with fiber that slows absorption, preventing rapid spikes. Berries are also rich in antioxidants, especially compounds that reduce oxidative stress and inflammation, both of which interfere with insulin signaling. Improving insulin sensitivity does not always come from lowering carbs alone. It often comes from reducing the internal stress that makes insulin less effective. Berries help on that front. Regular intake has been linked to better post-meal glucose responses and improved long-term markers of blood sugar control. Another important factor is that berries satisfy sweetness cravings without overwhelming the system. This makes them easier to stick with than strict fruit avoidance. Choosing whole berries instead of juices is critical because juicing removes fiber and concentrates sugar, turning a gentle food into a fast-acting glucose source. Whole blueberries, strawberries, raspberries, and blackberries digest slowly and provide volume, making them more filling. Over time, replacing high-sugar desserts or fruit juices with berries changes daily glucose patterns in subtle but meaningful ways. Using these foods daily is less about perfect meal plans and more about smart combinations. Blood sugar responds best when protein, fiber, and fat work together in the same meal. Eating carbohydrates alone allows them to digest quickly and spike glucose. Pairing them with leafy greens, nuts, beans, fish, or berries slows that process down. A bowl of beans becomes more stable when combined with vegetables and healthy fats. Fruit becomes easier on blood sugar when eaten with nuts or yogurt instead of alone. These combinations reduce the demand placed on insulin and make glucose control feel more natural. Avoiding carbs entirely is not necessary for most people, but avoiding isolated carbs makes a significant difference. Consistency matters more than perfection. Occasional higher carb meals do not ruin A1C, but repeated daily spikes do. When these foods appear regularly across meals and days, the body adapts. Insulin sensitivity improves, hunger stabilizes, and glucose fluctuations become smaller. Over time, this consistency reshapes the average that A1C reflects. The first changes people often notice are fewer and lower glucose spikes after meals. Blood sugar still rises, but it rises more gently and returns to baseline faster. This reduces stress on blood vessels and nerves. Fasting numbers often improve next as insulin sensitivity increases and the liver releases less glucose overnight. These early changes do not always show up immediately on A1C tests because A1C reflects a longer window. Weeks pass then months, and the cumulative effect becomes visible. Red blood cells exposed to lower average glucose carry less sugar, and A1C gradually drops. This slow improvement is a sign that the approach is working at a foundational level, not just masking symptoms. Common mistakes can interfere with this process. Overeating foods labeled as healthy can still push blood sugar and calories too high. Nuts, beans, and even berries require balance. Ignoring total carbohydrate intake while focusing only on food quality can also slow progress. Quality matters, but quantity still counts. Another frequent mistake is expecting instant A1C changes. A1C does not respond to a single good week or even a single good month. It responds to patterns held long enough to change the internal environment of the body. When expectations align with biology, frustration decreases and consistency becomes easier to maintain. Food is something you choose every day, and that is exactly why it has so much power over your A1C. Every meal is a small signal to your body. Over time, those signals add up and shape your blood sugar patterns far more than most people realize. You do not need extreme rules or perfect days. You need repeatable choices that support stable glucose and better insulin response. When you use food as daily medicine, progress becomes quiet but steady, and that is how real change happens. Now I want to hear from you. Which of these foods do you already eat? And which one will you start adding this week? Drop your answer in the comments and let others learn from your experience. If this video helped you understand A1C in a clearer way, tap the like button so more people can find it. Subscribe to the channel for simple science-based diabetes guidance you can actually use, and share this video with someone who needs better blood sugar control. In the next video, we'll break down another diabetes topic that most people get wrong and what to do instead, so stay connected and don't miss it.